All right, hey everyone. I'm Tally,
Hi, I'm Katie.
and you're listening to Girls Just Want to Have Puck. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a
where
couple
have you
weeks.
been, Tally? Like, geez, I feel like
And
I've been falling into a K-hole of hockey.
me too. I've just been in like hockey la la land
Um,
pretty much nonstop.
I'm pretty sure like one weekend I spent watching hockey for like 10 hours because there was like three games on and at least one of them went to overtime and I got up. I was like, I think there was like a 12 o'clock game, and so I watched hockey from like 12 till like 9:30 or 10. It was really, I just sat on the couch eating.
I've
It was
watched
sad.
some hockey. I watched two periods of a Blackhawks game. Um, I was late to a bridal shower because I was watching two periods of the Blackhawks game, but it was worth it because Blackhawks won.
And because bridal showers are the worst.
It
As
was
a,
kind of, it was kind of a
as,
fun bridal shower. Actually, I bought gifts off the registry, and that was another reason I was late because I hadn't already bought the gifts. So I waited till the end of the second period and then went to Bed Bath and Beyond. But one of the things in the registry was a Tervis tumbler with like the Kings logo on it,
oh,
and
cool.
I love Tervis tumblers. I have a number of them. I have a Kings one and a Blackhawks one actually, and um, so it was on the registry. So I was like, awesome. So I got that, and I assumed it was like, because it's one of my coworkers, and she doesn't ever talk about hockey, and she's never like engaged in any time I've ever talked about hockey. So I just assumed she didn't like hockey. But she and her fiance she told me the next day that she and her fiance were already fighting over it. So I give good gift. Just saying. But don't invite me to things because I'm poor and I can't afford to like
Weddings
give.
are expensive. I read some article that says like the average amount that you spend when you're invited to a wedding is like $600 because you have to buy a gift for the bridal shower and like like a dress or like clothes or whatever, and then like a gift at the wedding or like expenses to get there. Like it costs a buttload of money basically to be in a wedding. So it's the worst.
Yeah. Um, and then of course it's like one of those things where like I do like my coworker and like I realized as she was after she invited me, I was like, man, like I don't even really know her that well. And I'm like, oh, I've been working with her for 7 months. I've had my job for 7 months. That's crazy. Um, so it's fine, but it was like one of those things where I'm like, all but I'm moving across the country, so when I get married, like she's not gonna be invited to my bridal shower, so like that's not a like what they say is like the money that you put into like shower gifts and wedding gifts, you'll get
Yeah.
back when you get married. But I've gone to like two or three bridal showers since I moved out here, and those people like I just don't know them well enough that my that I'm gonna get that I'm not gonna get a return on my investment from those people. So some of my friends better end up being spinsters, so it will all balance out.
um, I decided that I didn't want to deal a while ago after hearing my friends' horror stories about like dealing with their moms like suddenly going nuts when they get engaged, like planning a wedding, or dealing with like their future in-laws, mother or parents. That it's like so stressful. I'm just like, I will probably just run off somewhere and secretly get married and then come back and be like, hey, let's have a party.
My parents did that. My parents eloped. My dad
I would
has
do
told
that.
me multiple times that if I elope, he will give me $10,000
That sounds like a really good deal to me.
if he
So
doesn't take me for a wedding.
I like the way your dad thinks. And then like $10,000 you can like put it down, like save up for down payment on a house or something
Yeah.
practical instead of getting really in debt because you had to have like a $5,000 wedding dress or something.
Although to be fair, I'm gonna look freaking gorgeous. Even if I elope, I'm getting a white dress.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta look
But
hot
I
in the.
can, but I can find like I don't need like I do sort of like princess dresses. I like the ones that are poofy on the bottom. I don't want like a long train or anything. I just like
So
the
you like
poofy like
tulle? You want like the tulle, like the ballerina
yeah,
skirt? Hmm.
absolutely. Um, so keep that in mind, future husband.
Yeah.
If you're listening to like a podcast I probably recorded ages before I met you. I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, note to all of our future husbands. We want to elope with you.
Yeah. And
Let's elope together. Tally, let's elope together. Let's have a double.
absolutely. Can we do it? Can we elope somewhere where we can go to a hockey game afterwards?
Yeah.
See how I brought that back on topic? So
Boom.
so coming soon, Tally and Katie elope with their whoever we end up with, and then go to a game at the United Center. I already decided that we're going to Chicago.
Yeah, I would do Chicago. I would be okay with Chicago as long as it's not snowing.
Yeah. Oh no. It's
Okay.
like the Blackhawks are good enough. Like we can we can go to playoff games. So like you can get
That's
married in
true.
like
So,
May or
like,
June.
Yeah, all right. June bride. Yeah, I got
There
that.
you go. In case you're wondering how optimistic I am about the Blackhawks' chances are from now until eternity, which is probably when I'm getting married, eternity. I'm only 23. I got time.
Girl, you do got time. Your biological clock is not ticking like mine is. So.
Excuse me. I interact with like small children on the regular, and it's just like every once in a while, like to be fair, everyone's like, oh, I couldn't stand working in the kids department. All these kids are like, oh, I don't like kids. I'm like, it's not the kids that are the problem. It's the parents. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, man, I have like the longest list of stuff that I am never going to effing do when I'm a parent. And I'm all ready to go. I'm ready. Like, let's do this.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
like,
not immediately.
I decided
I'm prepared.
I decided I'm not gonna ever have birthday parties for my children because I went to a kid's birthday party like a couple weeks ago and it was freaking terrifying. I don't know if it's because I don't have kids, but it was the scariest experience of my life, and I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it.
Here's my thing. I don't believe after like age 2 or 3, you don't get invited to a kid's birthday party if you don't have kids, unless it's like your niece or nephew. You just don't invite people that don't have kids to your kid's birthday party. That is just like basically
that's true. It's torture. I hate you. I want to make your life hell. Please spend 3 hours with me and 20 of my friends screaming children.
And spend $30 on some toy my kid's gonna break in the next week.
Yep.
All right. So now that we've talked about pretty much everything but hockey, we should talk about hockey. Starting with the fact that in 11 seconds, there's 11 seconds left in the Pittsburgh New York game, and Penguins are up 4-2. I mean, I'm looking at the NHL website, so the game could already be over.
My feed is behind, so I'm actually like 10 seconds behind, so the game's probably over right now.
Yeah, the game's over. Even if it wasn't over, it's over. So,
I think the Rangers are done. Like, they are so freaking done. Because they're going to go back to Pittsburgh for Game 5, and the Pens are rolling. So, I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury, can we just talk about this for a second?
You can talk about this for a second. I'm just going to sit here. It's not a video podcast, but, like, no, I'm rolling my eyes.
I can feel it. Like,
of this conversation, my eyes are like straight up like looking at my brain. They have rolled so far back.
It's the Liz Lemon. It's the Liz Lemon eye roll.
You're
doing the Liz Lemon, like the yeah. So let's talk about how a couple weeks ago I said that I wanted Marc-Andre Fleury because he has that history of kind of not playing so great. Yeah, he has a history of not putting on his best performance in the playoffs the last couple years. And I expressed, I expressed my wish that he would, because that's all everybody can talk about is, oh, well, Fleury was great in the regular season, but he's terrible in the playoffs. So I want people to stop talking about that. So I wanted him to actually play really well, and so then people would stop talking about that. And he has been playing very well. He's only allowed, like, I think, 2 goals in 3 games from the Rangers, yes. So that's pretty freaking good. So I mean, I think if Pittsburgh's goaltending holds up, they'll probably be playing the Bruins. Honestly though, if the Bruins can make it past Montreal, which that brings us to our next topic.
See, here's my thing. I like the Habs. I like the Habs. Okay, it's a thing now. And specifically in this series, I want the Habs to win. And of all the teams left in the Eastern Conference, I want the Habs to like come out of the East. Um, the Montreal Boston series is like everything anyone hoped for in terms of, and then some,
Well,
in terms of
it's
like storylines and chirpiness and all of that
it's
wonderful things and all of that horrible racism, um, which I guess we don't really need to get into. I feel like that topic has been over
yeah,
discussed.
yeah,
We
I'm
all
over it,
this
but
the official stance from Girls Just Want to Have Puck is that racism is bad and
and
PK Subban
PK's
is awesome.
Van, yeah, and his whole family is just kicks ass. Um, yeah. Um, I completely lost my train of thought. No, because you know how I wanted the Hunger Games series with like Flyers, Penguins, which obviously didn't happen. I feel like Bruins Habs is fulfilling my wish for that as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's beautiful.
it's fulfilling every desire for a series where two teams just want to kill each other. So
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. It's a great series, and it's
it is, and was listening to somebody today that was saying that that Montreal's like they're a smaller team, and that's what a lot of people were talking about. But I don't think that means anything because they're a really fast team, and right now Boston is chasing them because they're kind of bigger and slower, and so that like I think the Bruins are generally maybe the more talented team, but they're being very much outplayed by Montreal right now. So that's an extremely interesting series because it's not just a slam dunk for them because they get in each other's heads. So I feel like once you get in the Bruins' heads a little bit, I mean, the Caps did that a couple years ago. They had no business beating Boston when they did. So, I mean, who knows? I think that would be really cool. So, and I just, all of my, like, playoff predictions were just busted. Like, they're busted anyway because the Sharks just are stupid. I'm really
yeah.
mad at them. Really
A lot of
angry.
people have been disappointed by the Sharks, but not me because my
Continually.
wishful thinking bracket has been doing pretty well.
It's true.
Um, the Wild came out of the Wild Avs series,
That's
which
right.
of
You
course was
did predict that. Dang it.
which because I thought that the Blackhawks had a better chance against the Wild,
It's
and up
true.
until last night, I thought so.
Yeah, what happened last night? Didn't they get shut out?
They got shut
No.
out for nothing.
Well, one of
But
them was like a Mikhail Granlund empty netter, though. So I mean,
okay,
like to be fair, it
still,
was pretty much like 3-0.
yeah, but it was the Wild against the Blackhawks.
It was
Um,
Ilya Brizgalov who shut them out. Like,
don't
are
even
we,
talk to
is
me
this
right
like the
now.
apocalypse? Is this seriously how we're all gonna die? Is like Marc-Andre Fleury is like shutting out the Rangers, and then Ilya Brizgalov is like playing his butt off and like, I don't know, like shutting
In
out the freaking Blackhawks.
Minnesota
What the heck?
against the Blackhawks, like really?
But
Like,
here's the thing. But I think the Blackhawks only had like 22 shots on goal. They really didn't generate a lot of offense. So you know
the
what I mean?
Blackhawks.
Not to take away from his performance because I didn't watch the game, but it just didn't seem like it seemed like the Blackhawks were just having an off
He
night.
made some pretty outstanding saves. Like he won that game for them, but
Wow.
they I mean, like he kept them in the game for the first two periods, and then the Wild finally learned how to put a puck in the back of the net. But here's the thing:
Yeah.
it's like the Blackhawks Wild series is sort of when you compare it to like the Habs Bruins series is like a giant effing snooze fest. Like the first two
Yeah.
periods of the game yesterday, I mean, I'm pretty sure like if boring wasn't trending on in Chicago, it was like the 11th most tweeted word in Chicago. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just not an exciting game for the beginning of it, and it just hasn't been very exciting hockey. Now, to be fair, it's exciting for me because I'm a Blackhawks fan, and like I like when the Blackhawks score like 5 goals and when they win hockey games. Like that's
Yeah. You
exciting.
know what? It's one game. They'll probably
It's
bounce
one
back.
game. If it
Yeah.
they played the Wild last year in the playoffs and the Wild won one game. Although to be fair, that was like an overtime game. But the
Yeah.
Wild didn't
I
have
remember that.
uh But I just think, I mean, I still see the Blackhawks coming out of this series. I do, but I just there
I
I the Blackhawks are a better team than the Wild, and
Oh, for
despite
sure.
last night, I don't see the Wild as a team that can outplay the Blackhawks to 4 times out of 7.
I see Minnesota as being a better team than they were last year,
Yes.
and
Oh, absolutely.
so this series might take another game from the Blackhawks.
They could.
I think they could. But
I prefer they don't, but they
wait,
could.
what game was that last night? Was it just game
Game
three?
3.
Okay, so they have one more game at home, and then they go back. Maybe they take another game at home, tie the series, and then they go back to Chicago, and Chicago gets rolling when they're at home. Because Chicago is really good at home.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I think that's maybe what it takes. Sometimes if you're kind of in a dead arena, well, I shouldn't say dead arena, but like if you're kind of in an arena where it's not like packed full of like your screaming fans, it's a
I
little
mean, it
bit,
is.
it's
I mean,
Minnesota.
not
I
like it's
mean,
a. But they. I mean, I was
sorry,
listening to the
Minnesota
game.
fans.
No, I was listening to the game. I mean, the arena was as loud as like anything,
Uh-huh.
and it's not that. Like, there are definitely Wild fans, and we don't want to like. I mean, we alienate a lot of people on this podcast, and I don't necessarily think that Wild fans deserve to be alienated because, um, you know, I don't think. But I also, there is something to be said about, it's home team advantage and home ice advantage or whatever. But like, whatever. But the thing, so here's another thing, in terms of home ice advantage that has been completely destroyed. LOL, Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not really gotten a chance to watch any of that series yet, just because their games are on super late and I'm old, so I like to go to bed. But yeah, that's crazy. But I think the Kings will end up, you know.
Oh, I
Here's the thing about the Kings is they may not have looked that great like in the regular season this season, and I don't feel like the year that they won the cup they looked that great
well, they were the
during
eighth.
the regular season.
They were the eighth seed who couldn't score.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like they look that super awesome in the regular season, but they're built to be a playoff team, and that's where they excel, and that's why they were able to beat the Sharks, and that's probably why they'll beat the Ducks. Sorry, Bruce Boudreau, even though it would be really cool to see Bruce finally make it past the second round. Um,
But here's the
but
thing: the Kings aren't beating the Blackhawks and making it back to the final.
that would be a fun series, though.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic series, and I'm going to go. Um, but no matter who they play, the Blackhawks play in the next round, or even if it's the Wild, I'm going to go to a game the next round because it'll be my last chance to see hockey for a while without having to drive 5 hours to
Yeah.
Nashville. And so
Go
I can drive.
Purds.
I can drive to Anaheim pretty easily. Actually, I can probably drive to Anaheim more easily than I could drive to Staples Center because I hate driving in LA downtown.
If my friend is there with the Bulldog and you go to a game in Anaheim, I will let them know and they will want to meet you.
All right, good to know.
Ovi the Bulldog. He is
Ovi the
cool.
Bulldog.
Yeah. They went to when the Caps went to they played in Anaheim in LA like the week after I was in California, and they had moved there like that the week before, and so I ended up meeting up with them before I left, but they ended up going up to Staples Center and Honda Center and sitting outside because that's what they did in DC. And I think the LA Kings like tweeted a picture of him and said, looks like the Caps brought in a reinforcement, and it was him in like his Caps jersey, and it was really cute. But he's like a cool dog. But anyway, like, yeah, if you do, like, let me know because I'll tell them. Also, can I come visit you in Atlanta so we can actually go to a Purds game? Because
Absolutely.
I really want to. And also, I just want to go to Nashville. So
My parents have been to Nashville a couple of times in the last 2 years. I don't know why it's like their like new favorite place to go. They love it. Like, oh my gosh, you cannot get my parents to shut up about
Yes.
Nashville.
Okay.
If I had said, oh, I'm going to drive up to Nashville to go to a hockey game, they're like, oh, can we come? We'll sit in the back seat and bring the dog. We won't go to the game, but we just want to go to Nashville. Like, my parents are obsessed with Nashville. If they didn't like living in Atlanta so much, they would move to Nashville tomorrow.
I've heard awesome stuff about Nashville.
Adore Nashville. So I definitely next year, because that was the thing. The Predators did a really good job, or a semi-good job, after a better job than most people, of reaching out to Thrashers fans after the season afterwards. They sort of did it so that they said make us your new favorite team, and reached out to Thrashers fans and stuff, which was really cool of them. And so I know a lot of people after the Thrashers left would drive up to Nashville a couple times. I think they actually went to see Nashville play Winnipeg. I know a few people that went up and did a road trip together and wore all their old Thrashers gear and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna become a Predators fan, because let's be real, I like too many effing hockey teams. But I can see,
It's like you have too many boyfriends, Tally. You have too many boyfriends. You need to just stop, okay?
Yeah, that's what it is. Because liking a million hockey teams is what brings all the boys to the yard.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. I don't know about you, Tally.
My milkshake, and my love of 4 hockey teams brings all the boys to the yard to point and laugh. No, because honestly, it's funny. I would say the big reaction I get whenever it's people making fun of me for liking a million hockey teams, it's 99% guys. It just is. And I don't want to. We don't need to get into the girls versus boys argument today. That's not.
Girls rule, boys drool. Boom, the end.
Bam. But it is interesting because it is. I remember we had Jesse Cohen on the podcast. He had this from Team Royal Half. He came on and he was making fun of me for liking a million teams, and he just could not wrap his head around it. But for me, it's if you look at, but I spend a lot of time on Tumblr, and I'm kind of involved in the hockey fandom side of Tumblr somewhat. And there is this idea of because you're seeing what gets spread around Tumblr, and I think I've talked about this before, so I'm going to keep this brief, but what gets talked about on Tumblr is little stuff like players' personalities. Erik Karlsson from The Sens has a Tumblr, and it's adorable. Because he's always telling people to love themselves and be positive.
Oh, that's so cute.
Super adorable, and it's awesome. He posts pictures, and he used the word y'all today. It was great.
And because Swedes are just the best. Sweden, boom. That's where I'm gonna live one day. I think we talked about this before. We had Chris on.
Toss hearts to Erik Karlsson. So that's the thing. I'm not gonna become a Sens fan, but now I like Erik Karlsson as a person, and I want to see him do well.
Okay. You're turning into Jeff Merrick because that's what he does.
But I still root for teams.
That's how it starts, Tally. It's how it starts. I'm pretty sure Jeff Merrick probably liked a couple teams at one point, and then he was
12.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, but that's how it happens. So one day you're just going to be oh, look.
Since we're officially now a Merrick versus Wyshynski spin-off podcast, does this mean you have to turn into Wish? Do you have to start liking the Devils?
Oh, gosh, I hope not. Oh, jeez.
And making bets with mascots?
No. I don't make bets because I just don't make bets. I'm not a betting man, so don't do that.
Although, of the two of us, I would say I'm probably the one more likely to take a pie in the face because I just think it would be fun.
Oh, so what's this you volunteered me to take a pie in the face on behalf of Girls Just Wanna Fuck?
I'm just saying, they were, so on MVSW the other day, they were talking about, at the end of the podcast, as it descends into madness, as podcasts often do towards the end. See, we're ahead of it because we descend into madness within the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we're just awkward.
but so they talked about oh, like, look, this is what we do for you. We get pied in the face like that, like, what other podcast is doing that for you? So I said, on behalf of Girls Just Want to Have Puck, I volunteer my wonderful, fabulous, gorgeous co-host Katie Brown to take a pie in the face. But unfortunately, Katie had not agreed to that before I said that, so she was a little, maybe, thrown by me volunteering.
I just said, excuse me, was all I said. But because I didn't listen to MVSW that day because I was really busy at work. But, yeah. I don't know. I hope you're not planning anything silly for the draft. I don't know.
You'll get in my car. I'll show up to your place, and I will come with my little suitcase. I'll be like, "Hey, thanks for letting me stay here for a night." Bam! Pie in the face. That's gonna happen.
I'll open the door.
Feel yourself.
I'll open the door of my house, and you'll just pie me.
Absolutely. Good. Hopefully, one of your roommates doesn't answer the door.
I'll make sure they do.
Whichever one you're particularly ticked off at that day will answer the door.
I've never been ticked off at my roommates. We get along swimmingly.
Nice. So, where did we get to this?
I don't know. Because you said you cheered for players, and I said then you were turning to Jeff.
Yeah, and then so, but the thing is, it's like, so what ends up happening is you like the team, you like the players, and the reason I'm a Habs fan is because I like so many guys on that team. Like, there are guys I like on teams I don't like. Like, I like Blake Wheeler. I don't like Winnipeg.
That's true.
I mean, I, like everyone else ever, is a fan of Biz Nasty. I'm a fan of Biz Nasty, and I definitely do not like the Coyotes. There's no other Penguins that I like. All those guys can go screw themselves. I have developed.
For real?
Yeah. I have developed I like the James Neal Eats Alone parody account, but that's about as close as
That's really funny. Or hashtag Ask Neil.
Hashtag Ask Neil. I don't like James Neal, but I like things that make fun of James Neal. Does that count?
I guess so. I mean, you're just rooting for his ridicule, so.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely. But and like everyone else in the known universe, I've become a fan of Jamie Benn this season because.
Heck yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm partial to Jordy because he spells his name with an IE. And anyone named Jordy just has to be cool. Is that like his full name, or is that like short for Jordan?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm about to do my researching skills. This is how we found out about Airbud's life story. So, we're about to find out Jordy Benn's life story. As
we are an MVSW spinoff, does this require me to start singing about what you're doing to Girl from Impanina?
This is like Dougie Hamilton. Like, Dougie is his real name. Like, it's not a nickname. There's really nothing on Wikipedia about him.
Jordy and James Benn share an apartment in the same complex as Tyler Seguin. We've talked about this before on the podcast.
Yes, codependency.
It amuses me greatly. Basically, I love hockey players. I don't want to meet them, but I love hockey players. And that is why I like a lot of teams, but just because I like someone doesn't mean I have to like their team.
It's true.
Just when I like half the roster, like what happened with Montreal, then I start to like the team a little bit.
There's literally nothing on the internet about Jordy Benn. I think I'm just going to go with that Jordy is his full name, and he's like Dougie Hamilton.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is Jamie Benn's real name James?
No, I think his name's Jamie.
So maybe maybe Jordy Benn's name is Jordy. Let's hope so.
Just like Dougie.
That would be glorious. Yes. I like Phil Kessel. Doesn't mean I like the Maple Leafs.
Phil Kessel, NHL 15. I'm on that team.
I am so team Phil Kessel.
Team Kessel. Yeah, like screw all of you.
But
Phil Kessel.
Wait, no. How about team Amanda Kessel, NHL 15. Hashtag best Kessel.
Yes. Superior Kessel in all things. Oh, Phil. He deserves to be on the cover of that because he lives in the shadow of. I just keep thinking about him being the guy that was the last one picked at the All-Star draft, and
You know what's
Ovechkin
great though?
laughed at him and took a picture, and he was just so sad. He
You know what
smiled,
I
but he
want
was
more
so
than
sad.
anything in the universe is if
What?
Tyler Seguin. I don't know if Tyler Seguin's up for the NHL 15 thing, but I want the final round of who is going to be on the cover of NHL 15 to be Tyler Seguin versus Phil Kessel. I'm just saying, girls just want to have puck listeners. Make this happen.
It's called Whose Apartment Smells Worse, Tyler Seguin or Phil Kessel. It's a new game that none of us want to know the answer to.
I can't decide if Bruins fans would be for or against this plan.
I think they'd be on Team Kessel. Well, here's the thing. I don't think Bruins fans dislike Tyler Seguin, but like maybe some of them do because of the way things like went down. But you know what I mean? Like I can't. I mean the
Seguin because of Kessel.
That's true. That's very true. I don't know. But we should start a new game. Which apartment smells worse?
I don't even want to think about it.
Well, no, the reason I say that is because, like, if you remember during the lockout, there was this thing basically saying that, like, Tyler Seguin's apartment in Switzerland was, like, just full of garbage.
Yeah.
And, like, he didn't know how to do laundry.
True.
And they started calling him Trash Man Tyler.
Hockey player. See, that's why Patrick Kane brought his mama to Switzerland.
Cute.
Okay, let's see. What else is happening in the world of hockey? Things are happening.
Lots of things.
Like the Flyers and firings.
The Flyers are doing things.
Bye John Tortorella in Vancouver.
Yeah. You want to know what my worst nightmare is, Tally?
What is your worst nightmare, Katie?
You know how the Capitals need a coach and a GM? That would literally be my worst nightmare if they hired John Tortorella.
And since you have press access?
Yeah. Also, I just think it would be terrible here. But like, I was really sad yesterday when the Predators hired Peter Laviolette as their head coach, when he was the guy that I really wanted here for the Caps. But Capitals have this little problem called they don't have a GM yet, and usually the GM hires the coach. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to hire a coach before then. But they also need to get cracking because all the good guys are going to get snatched up. So yeah, get on that, Ted, because we don't want torts. Do not want torts.
There are some dumb people out there that think.
Okay, my dad loves John Tortorella. Like, this has nothing to do with like his coaching prowess, like whatsoever. It's just my dad thinks he's just like my dad goes, he just doesn't care. He's just crazy, and that's why my dad likes him, just because he's just like off his rocker.
That's not necessarily what you want in a coach.
I know, but my dad enjoys his personality and that he just does crazy ass stuff.
Imagine like the Odd Couple, John Tortorella and Alex Ovechkin.
No, that would never. No, Alex Ovechkin. If they hired John Tortorella as their coach, I guarantee you, Alex Ovechkin would say, "See you later, $70 million. I'm staying in Russia." Like, I guarantee you, he would just not come back from the Worlds. Like, he would just stay.
Like, there's no way, like, a guy like Tortorella could deal with Alexander Ovechkin. Like,
you know
and because Ovechkin wouldn't listen to him.
Ovechkin doesn't listen to anybody, and he didn't really listen to Adam Oates. I'm about to like go off on something here for a sec. Adam Oates gets all this credit. Let's just get it out of the way right now. Adam Oates was a terrible head coach, hence why he got fired. He was a great power play coach, not a great team coach, not a great 5-on-5 coach. My beef with that is he gets all these accolades for rejuvenating Alex Ovechkin and switching him to the right wing, and he's scoring all these goals. Well, let's talk about something. Alex Ovechkin scored like 24 of his 52, he scored like the majority, like over half of his goals he scored on the power play. And where he scores on the power play is on the left wing. So he's essentially playing left wing. He's essentially scoring the majority of his goals on the left wing. So he's not actually playing on the right. He's not scoring a lot of goals from the right side. So I think he should go back to left wing next year, but that's just me. I'm not an NHL head coach, but
no.
I don't know.
But there are days, don't you feel like you could do a better job? I know I couldn't, but like you know.
Here's the thing. I think Adam Oates' problem was he couldn't see the forest for the trees. If you know what I mean, like he just couldn't see like the big picture, and he was very set on like what he wanted to do, like here's the thing. I don't think he's dumb. I think he's very smart, but I think that he thinks he's the smartest, and that nobody can like tell him that what he's doing is wrong. Like he's like, I am super smart. There's no way that playing Jay Beagle with Alex Ovechkin is going to be a bad idea. Not at all. Like, come on, dude. Come.
You can't say that because I'm going to have that stupid parody Peter Hassett wrote stuck in my head.
Freaking Ovi.
Eternity. I'm guessing most people who are listening to this have not seen this. It's great. We'll link it in the description. It was Peter, right, that did the
Yes, Peter
parody?
did this.
Okay, so Peter Hassett wrote this parody of what's the song called? What's the actual song called?
It's by Lemos. It's like an Enrique Iglesias song, and it's kind of like a tagline they would use like in game recaps. If the Caps won, it was by Lemos, like celebrate kind of thing. And so like when Adam Oates got fired, Peter actually told me like a week before Oates got fired that he had written this song and he was just waiting for it to happen so he could post it.
So
this is Russian Machine Never Breaks, guys. So it's really funny.
So the chorus is just like Adam Oates.
Well, because Adam Oates goes perfectly with the chorus of By Lemos. So
it's like, and then it's like freaking Ovi. And it's been stuck in my head for like since Katie sent it to me like 2 weeks ago. It's so catchy. It's so like I was gonna say it's so bad, but it's like it's so bad in a good way. Like
it's so bad, it's good.
Great.
It's
awesome.
just good.
And you should all go check it out. And self-promotional transition. If you are into song parodies about hockey, I, for the first time in over a year, it's been almost 13 months since I posted a video on YouTube. Last night I was talking to someone. I was like, man, there has been a lot of 2-goal leads blown in the playoffs, which of course everyone's talking about all the 2-goal leads that have been blown in the playoffs. And I was like,
except the Penguins. The Penguins did not do that tonight. But anyway, go on.
Shh, you don't even don't rain on my parade, girl. Look, hey, we disagree about something. Okay, we're not technically disagreeing, but you are ticking me off. So our dynamics coming back.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I love you. Let's be BFFs and go to the draft together.
Yeah.
So anyway, like that's gonna happen anyway. So I was talking to someone. I was like, has someone like written a song about this? Because like there are people in the hockey world who like to write song parodies. And I was like, no one's written a song parody about like 2-goal leads. And so I was like, I was trying to think of some songs that have like 2 in the title. And then it came to me. I was like, and I actually have a ukulele songbook. And I was like, maybe, because I was like, oh, it has to be a song. Like, before I, get all into the idea of doing a song, I'm like, oh, it has to be one that I can actually play on the ukulele. that sounds good on a ukulele. So I open up my ukulele songbook, and like the second song in there is "Build Me Up Buttercup" by the Foundations, which is fabulous because it's like "Build Me Up Stanley Cup."
Perfect.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but "Build Me Up Buttercup" is quite possibly one of the catchiest songs ever. So if
Totally.
you even just think about "Build Me Up Buttercup," which, sorry listeners, because now you're all thinking about "Build Me Up Buttercup," it will be stuck in your head for eternity. So I was like, maybe I'll write this song parody. And then I went to work, and I only worked a half shift, but it was still 4 hours of "Why do you build me up, buttercup?" for like nonstop on a loop. So of course you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, this could be this lyric and this could be this lyric. And so I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning recording myself singing "Build Me Up Buttercup." I've never recorded anything with more than like one track of audio before. There were 6 tracks in that, but a couple of them were like little fixes. And I made a video today. I will link it in the description of the stuff, or you can find it on my Twitter or on YouTube under Liv TiVo, or just Google "Build Me Up Stanley Cup."
Just listen to it. It's cute.
And
And
so
it'll be
I
also
recorded it
stuck
this
in your
morning,
head.
and it took me like 15 hours in total to like do this whole thing. And I'm pretty sure I will die. I will live to the age of 103, and when I die, I will still have "Why do you build me up, buttercup" stuck in my head. But I want everyone to understand that it was worth it. I got malware on my computer trying to download video editing software to do this. Like, all sorts of horrible things happened. But I really like the way the video turned out, so I hope everyone
It's awesome.
will check that out.
Super awesome.
That is like the most shameless of shameless self-promotion.
Because your video is perfect and everything right now. So
It's just been a long time since I made a video, and I have low self-esteem, and I need people to tell me I'm good at something. That's not even remotely true. It's a little bit true. It's a little bit true.
I really want to get like one of those flip video cameras and like videotape stuff like at the draft.
I got a flip video camera that I'm planning to bring to the draft. Yes.
That would be so fun. Yeah.
I have on this flip video camera, I have footage from the first hockey game I ever attended, which was the Thrashers Blackhawks game, and I have video footage.
Vintage.
Yeah, I know, right? Exclusive footage of the Blackhawks warming up, and my friend Suzanne freaking the crap out of being like so close to players who I didn't know who they were then. Not bitter about my past self not enjoying like what was an epic hockey game.
That's okay.
Blackhawks versus Thrashhawks, anyway. But I also have footage of the game 1 of the Eastern Conference final from 2 years ago, Rangers Devils.
Ooh.
Well.
That was the year. That was the year the Devils made it to the Cup final, right?
Yep. But the Rangers won the first game, 3-0. And it was like a boring shot blocking extravaganza into the third period.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
my dad, who thinks hockey is boring because it's low scoring, was like through the whole game was like, really? This is a sport you like? You like this? Like, we could have seen a musical tonight. So.
Would that be a hard choice for you though? Like,
yes.
Would it depend on what musical it was though?
Yeah. Well, I did end up seeing a musical on that trip. It was right after I graduated, and I was going to the NBC up front in New York with my dad. And so, but the game, I think, was on a Monday night, and Broadway is dark on Mondays for the most part. And so, so it was like, oh, I could get tickets to a hockey game at Madison Square Garden in the playoffs, which is the Rangers Devils game, or see a revival of Jesus Christ Superstar. And I freaking hate Jesus Christ Superstar, so it was pretty.
Okay, so I guess it depends on which like musical it was, and also and
I saw Nice Work If You Can Get It with Matthew Broderick and Kelly O'Hara the next night. So
okay,
it all worked out.
So this just made me realize that I have only been to New York once in my life,
Really?
and
You
yes,
live
and
pretty close.
it was 10 years ago, or it was the winter of 2002
Oh my
when
God, girl, we're going to
I
New
was
York.
a senior in high school, and that was
Like,
that was
forget it.
when.
Like, screw the draft. We're going to New York.
I know, it's really sad. Like, I've never been anywhere. Like, I don't know how I haven't only been to New York City like one time, but I have.
I will I will drive up to DC. Well, I'm already driving up to DC for the draft to meet you to drive to the draft. But at some other point I will drive up to DC and we will take the train into New York and it will be fabulous.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that. It just,
And we're
you
going to
know.
see musical theater and we're going to see hockey and we're going to have no
Also,
money left
can I
afterwards.
can
And
I
we're going to eat at
add
Two Boots.
can
What?
I add to that my New York trip when I went there in high school, we did go to a Broadway show
What did you see?
and Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Acceptable. It's one of those ones it's a school trip so they can't like take you. It's 2002.
It was actually a church trip, but
Oh, okay, yeah. So they're definitely not taking you to Thriller Modern Millie, I think was out in 2002. Oh, I
I
can't do
remember
this. I
seeing
won't.
signs. I remember seeing signs for like Urinetown and not knowing
Oh,
what it was
you're in town
because
is
I was so
so
dumb.
great. My dad saw you're in town. My dad used to commute to New York like Monday through Friday or Sunday night through Thursday night. And so we used to go. So he used to see shows all the time, and so I've seen 34 shows
Holy
on Broadway.
crap.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of musicals in New York. Like one time my mom and I went up and we saw like 5 shows in like 4 days.
Holy crap. So can we like talk about how you should write like an actual hockey musical? And it can be better than like,
Then score a hockey musical
yes, it can be much
because
better than that.
everything's better than score a hockey musical.
I just think you need to just write a musical.
I've talked about it with former podcast guests Eliza and Sasky actually.
I could
Sasky
totally see
for
you
a
guys
school
doing that.
project once came up with the plot of a hockey musical. It's like High School Musical, but I think it was like High School Hockey Musical or something.
Oh, that's
Like,
cool. But you guys could do it. You guys are super creative, and I think that
and Eliza even at one point did a parody of "You Want to Build a Snowman?" from
yes, with
Brooklyn.
Luongo, yeah,
Yeah, with
Roberta
Luongo
Luongo,
and Lack.
yeah.
Called "Do You
She
Want
said
to Have a
she,
Goalie Fight?"
yes, yes. So I mean, come
There's
on, you
all sorts
guys,
of song parodies that we will be linking in the description of this podcast.
and like probably Harrison Mooney would like help you guys write. Like it would be cool. It would be like hockey people writing a musical, all like really talented
Absolutely.
peeps. That would be awesome. I think
That would be
that
really
needs to happen. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, now this is the lamest reason to ever have to end a podcast, but I sort of forgot to turn on a light before we started recording, and now it's 8 o'clock and it's dark. Also, it's about 50,000 degrees in my apartment, and I need to turn on a fan. So, and you guys don't want me to have a fan on while we're recording because it's loud and obnoxious. So, I think this might have to be it for this episode if girls just want to have puck. Um, we will be
Oh,
back sooner than 2 weeks from now,
well,
though.
we can talk about the douchey overtime challenge, how we've had plenty of opportunities to do that, and that people should continue coming up with new douchey overtime challenge
Yes. Continue the douchey overtime
lines.
challenge. Make it a way of life. Um,
We must overthrow the Bucci overtime challenge. Must.
absolutely.
Must.
Um,
Just end it. End it.
and it. You should all watch my video. That's just a thing.
Listen/watch Tally's video and Peter's video. Because obviously, definitely Tally's more, just because she's cooler.
You
So
have to
Peter.
decide which song you'd rather have stuck in your head first.
Oh yes,
Whatever
and
the first
please,
one you listen to, you'll get it out by listening to the second one. So if
please.
you're like, oh, do I want to live the rest of my life with Build Me Up Buttercup?
Okay, okay. No, here's my challenge. Listen to both of them and then pick which one that you would rather have stuck in your head for like the rest of your life. Like if it was the last song that you heard before you died, which one would it be?
Yeah.
It was really morbid, but
That was really morbid. I for the record, I don't think my song is good enough to be the last thing someone listens to before they die. But it could get stuck in your head until the day you die. But that's not my fault. Blame the Foundations for that one.
Yeah, exactly. And Enrique for whatever the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening.
Iglesias family.
Absolutely. Blame them. Blame those people, not us. All right. Thanks for listening to Girls Just Want to Have Puck. We'll be back at some point.
Yeah, it won't be 2 weeks, but we were just busy with life,
Yep. That's how it goes.
Playoffs. All right. I was literally swimming like in the K-hole of hockey. Like I couldn't get out.
Yeah, it happens. It does.
There were just so many games. It was like I just didn't even have time to like eat. I was just like glued to the television.
As you should have been. All right. Thanks for listening. Right. And we will see you here.
You know where to find us on Twitter. So
yeah, at LiveToTivo, LIV2TiVo, at Katie_Brown47. Email addresses are in the information. You know how to get in touch with us.
Tally really needs to turn on her light. She's turned on her light.
It's not even the light now. It's just like honestly, it is so.
And she's
hot.
sweating. So
I am melting.
It's dark and like sweaty. So
thanks a lot, California. All right. Bye.
Goodbye, friends.